What's up, guys, and welcome to another Will It Run style video. This one's going to be on a 1966 Chevy Panel Truck that came from the same yard as the last three cars I did, and it's probably been sitting for roughly the same 20 years or so. I'm told the engine does rotate over by hand, and this video is going to be a little bit different than the last few since I'm going to go work on the truck where it sits now, and I'm actually waiting on parts for the Chevelle and the Fury, and the trailer's kind of blocked in back there, so I figure we'll go see if I can get it running with what's in my truck. I'll probably grab a couple things from the garage here too. And it's also really cold. It's like 15 degrees right now and the low is 7 tonight. So, I don't know, good luck, we'll see. So I'm gonna grab a couple electric tools here. And I already have a ton of tools in my truck, which I think we're gonna have just about everything we need. Here's everything we're bringing: small aluminum jack, a jump pack that's probably pretty weak, power probe, some wires, those drills I already showed you, fogging oil, the IV, some two-stroke gas. Anything else we might need should be in this truck since I keep her pretty well stocked. And here we are. So let's do a quick walk around tour on this and then we'll see if we can get her running. Definitely need some tires. They're off the bead. And typical junkyard writing on there. This is something Claris and Kaza, I can't even read that. Registered plumbing and heating, that's what it was. So let's and we'll go back to that. Oh, look at these wheels. Actually, check that out. That doesn't, these are Kraggers and they don't look too old at all on the inside anyway. Rusting through on the outside. The old smell test. Yep, that's a good 20 years, we'll call it. Hopefully we can get in this thing. I wonder what that's from. Anybody know what that's from? Is the body work maybe? I'll take a look inside here real quick, see how bad some of the rot is. Doesn't look bad at all. Exhaust is hanging down on the ground. Looks like newer pipes there though. And yeah, on the roof, it's got a Venturi vent on it. Paint's real nice. The roof's super nice on this thing. Not in bad shape at all. And some lube on those hinges. Alright, a little small block V8 in there. Some long tube headers. Flex hose on the bottom. Standard rad hose up top. Copper radiator. That is looking pretty bone dry in there. I didn't bring fluids, but I should have plenty of stuff under the hood of my truck I keep in there. And like I said, he said they already grabbed this and rotated the engine. And the linkage is seized up on there. Made in USA. You guys probably can't read that. How about the choke? No, that's not seized up completely. We'll hit that up with some Croil. Let that lube soak in and shoot some fogging oil down the carburetor. And now anytime before you rotate an engine that's been sitting for a long time, you should always take the spark plugs out and spray oil on the cylinders. You know, in this case, I know it's already been bumped over a little bit. I sprayed fogging oil in there, which should trickle down into the intake ports. So, you know, of course, we can't just grab the fan. So if you push on the belt some, let's see how that sounds. And I don't hear any rust in the cylinders. If you have rusting on those walls, you'll hear that as you're rotating. So I'm going to get a socket for the crank now. But before that, let's just check the rest of the fluid levels. So this has got a single service master cylinder on it. And again, you should clean off the top of these before you take it off too. But it needs to be replaced or rebuilt anyway. So I'm gonna hammer for that. This is my main tool. Keeping the truck. Not the most convenient thing in the world to get to all the time, but has most everything that you need. Guess I gotta crack this before it freezes up too, huh? Nice Founders All Day IPA Session Ale. Nothing like a cold beer that has a little bit of ice in there. First quenching. Get the hammer and some sockets down below here. Well, that's bone dry. Yeah. No power steering to worry about. The engine oil up to level, looks real sludgy, real bad actually, but good lubricating properties. You know, it's just so cold out, that's why it looks like molasses on there, but that oil's fine. Now, some people have said in other videos that I can't believe you started that engine with the old oil, I think on the Impala video, right? In my opinion, if it feels good and there's no water in it, I think it's completely fine to start a car on old oil. Now, putting a new oil filter on wouldn't be a bad idea because the material can break down inside and yeah, get sucked in and clog some stuff up. So that would be, you should probably always put a new oil filter on before cranking her over. And the trans, probably empty like they usually are. No, right up to level on that. Looks good. So of course that's up to level without it running, so that'll need a top off, I'm sure. As far as the engine identification, you can find numbers up on the passenger side of the block, but it's pretty crowded up, which I don't think I have a wire brush. That might be the one thing I don't have in this truck. We'll just call it a small block Chevy for now, but I did realize we still got to get in this car. This one goes, but it must be locked. So we got these. That's not locked right there. I don't want to break the glass though. There we go. Yeah, let's do a tour of the inside. So there looks like the original color of the door anyway. The truck was originally a green. Party hard. Tasmanian Devil, right? Taz, whatever his name was. These in the ashtray. Oh, you can see right through the bottom. You can see this used to have a column shifter on it, but somebody put a floor shifter in, a Hurst. At least it's got a Hurst sticker on it. Power seats in this baby. This looks like probably out of a more modern Suburban. Oh, look at this. This is like, this reminds me of the Dumb and Dumber truck, the Shaggin' Wagon or whatever it was, with the Petmobile. Look at the carpet in here. This is pretty cool. All right. Oh, we got a nice fender here. It actually doesn't smell bad at all in here. It's nice. It's OSB, so this couldn't have been done all too long ago. Nothing in there. Wow, whoever designed this, unless the wood swelled, a little tight. I wonder if the plumber couldn't have used it like this. I mean, it would have been a lot more filthy, that's for sure. Oh, same thing. Whoever, I mean, they must have the door open when they were cutting that out. It looks like a little nest back there. Oh yeah, something getting all that and making them. It's a cozy place for rodents, that's no doubt. All right, oh, look at that. That is cool. Oh, the old thing just, oh no. Oh no, it ripped right out of the floor. So, any little body work there. The steering's not locked up. Little play, not bad though. I like that dash. 19,000 miles on it. Probably 119, but okay. And before it gets dark, I guess let's take a look under here. Coil springs in good shape. Nice shocks, yeah. Oh yeah. This thing's not really rusted out that bad. Little body work, some brake lines, and this baby will be cruising. I was never a big fan of panel trucks, to be honest. Which, by the way, this is a 5th generation, so I believe 60 to 66, and then 67 to 70 was the 6th generation, and it was replaced by the Suburban. But look at this next to it. I didn't even notice there's an HHR here, which this is like the retro panel truck, essentially. Panel van, panel truck, whatever you want to call it. See how the carburetor linkage is doing on it. Look at that, it works now. Croyle, stuff's amazing. Let's throw the air filter back on. And then fire up the air compressor because we gotta blow some of those leaves off. Which I got the ARB here, little guy, and I had to actually rebuild that, replace some parts because that was all rusted out ever since I sank this truck in the river. Did a video on that very unfortunate situation. And then I got the air hose here. Right here on my bumper, I have a hose that sticks out, which is connected to a stainless steel tank that's tucked under here. There you go, there's a good view of it. Got that on eBay. Oh, sounds like I have a leak too. Yeah, it's the drain valve leaking, that's okay. Got a little Harbor Freight pen blower here. A 16 millimeter, aka 5/8 for the crank, same difference. And it's important when we rotate this, we want to listen for any rust in those cylinders. If we do hear anything, then we'll pull the plugs out and spray lube down them. But let's go. I rotated that a full 360, no noise or binding, and I think my next step is going to be trying to get some power to the starter motor and see what the crank sounds like. Now, I just want to say a lot of guys would probably hate on me. In fact, I got quite a few comments on other videos about how did you not pull the carburetor off first. And my idea of a will it run video is, let's just do the bare minimum and see if this thing would actually run if you put power to it and just do the bare minimum stuff. But clearly there's more cautious ways to go about doing this. Say you were working on a car that was really super rare, but that's not what we're doing here. I'm not even getting paid to do this. I'm just out here messing with this old car, truck. And I promise you, I'm not going to break anything I can't and won't fix. Check this out. The radiator says use Chrysler antifreeze. I wonder if, I guess this is out of a Chrysler, or was that a thing back in the day? I don't know. Sorry about how scattered I am sometimes too. So where were we? We had to get this engine cranking over with the starter. Let's find the starter. There's no oil filter down there. The starter's going to be where they'd always be on a Chevy, down here on the passenger side. Roll in here. Let's see what kind of room we got. This is gonna be like a white, maybe a tan wire. Let's go find that. Let's hook some juice up. I'll definitely have to double this up with another jumper I have in my truck, but for now it'll do. So I got it turned on, ground hooked up, and then I always do the tap test. No spark, make sure we don't have anything arced. I'll arc to the chassis. We got spark, so we got ground, good continuity of the ground. Clamp her up. Then we can just use some jumper leads. Hook one up to the white wire on the starter. No continuity. I gave a little tug on that wire at the starter and it yanked right out, so it didn't pass the pull test, and I'm hoping that was the problem. I got the red directly hooked up to the starter solenoid now, so here we go. No, I get the jump pack off. Nothing. Still got nothing. Now let's see if this wheel rotates. Oh, locked up solid. So elementary stuff, but on these starters, this is the motor and this is the solenoid up here. This is where the battery cable comes and attaches to this post. And so when you give this power, the solenoid has two big contacts in there that this magnetic solenoid will pull up and connect those, and then power is sent into this post right here into the starter. But what also happens is there's a fork in there that engages the starter gear. So really I should just pull this thing out, but check it out. Even if I wanted to take the starter out, you got one bolt right here accessible. The other one is actually blocked. It probably doesn't look it by the camera, but the header is blocking the other one, and I'd literally have to loosen those or bend it out of the way with a pry bar. And let's see if the motor itself spins if I jump it between these two terminals. It So the motor does spin, but now we just got to get that solenoid working. We could take off just the solenoid. There's 2 bolts, one right there, and on the other side, kind of hard to get to though with the starter still in here. Or we'll just wail on this thing a bunch. Hit the solenoid punch too. Loosen her all up. Oh, check that out. Oh, no. Yeah, I had it. You heard the taproo go. Now let me get a better battery on here because you can see this thing's kind of weak. I mean, it's got 12 volts. It just doesn't have the juice. Could break out the jumper cables or take the battery under the hood, but I actually have another lithium-ion jump pack in here. The JF Egwo one. It's actually an air compressor too. And this thing's pretty awesome. Oh yeah. Alright, it sounded pretty good. A little funky, but no harsh noises. Let's get a little more lube in there. Heck, we'll give it a little croil down the carb. Since I'm out of fogging oil. Really hosed her down before. Oh. What's her name? Karma. Come here, Karma. Come here. What are you doing? You are a cutie. Hey. How old is she? 6 months. Wow, look at you. What's she, a Rottweiler or what? Okay, yeah. What are you doing, huh? You over here attacking the goats and stuff?
That one, that's a potbelly.
A potbelly?
This one we raised from a baby.
Oh, yeah?
This one's really sweet. Hi, bud. Hi, I know. They're waiting.
Hey. Karma gets along with everyone? Karma gets along with them all?
Yeah, it's just if I let her in the pen, she faces the chickens.
Gotcha.
She's the spoiled one. She goes nuts. Come on, piggies. Let's go. It's your feeding time.
Very cool. These are the males over here, right?
Yeah, they're the males.
Hey, you guys. Yeah. Grumpy old man.
What's all your food, buddy? What's your food? Come on. Out of here. Come on, milkshake. Come on.
Now, with the more lube in there, let's do another crank and see how she sounds. Karma, you gotta go back. You gotta go back to your mommy. Yeah, it does sound like it could have a dead cylinder. But, let's check for spark now. So the first step will be running a hot over to the positive on the primary side of the coil, and then we can see we do have points. We got that wire going into the dizzy, so let's pop the dizzy off. I did just take a second to verify that the plug wires are routed properly. Firing orders 18436572. Since the last couple cars, a couple of them were off. And actually, instead of pulling the points out, let's try the snap test. Somebody had commented on a previous video of mine that I think they said Mortsky's garage does this, or maybe it was Pudden's Fab Shop. But take a screwdriver and just snap the points open a couple times against each other. You know, little snapperoo test. Yes, like that. And I can see in there, there's a little bit of corrosion. Oh no, actually, that might have just broke one of them, honestly. Unless that was just straight corrosion that came off. So snapping these points like that proved to be a pretty bad idea because it broke off the condenser side pad. Well, let's see if we can get by with an adjustment and still get some spark out of that instead of running to a parts store. And I've adjusted the Allen to where I'm getting contact, and I'm sure the Duell is completely off, but that's okay. As long as we're getting contact, should get spark. And the mechanical advance, you can see, works good too. I just had to take a break and throw some heated gloves on. I just got these, and let me tell you, my fingertips were frozen. I would have had to start the truck up and get some heat going, but or start a fire. But these within 2 minutes, hands feel great. They work in them though, and they sound kind of, you hear that? It sounds like plastic, so I don't know, I might end up getting some different ones, but for now they work. Now this probably used to be a talk wire on here, which, oh geez, that side's extremely loose on here. Now we gotta snug that down. We got power on both sides of the primary, so we know the coil windings are good. We should have spark now. Yes, we got spark. All right, let's fire it up on a little starting fluid or gasoline. I think that's all we got. Trans is in park, and not that it's gonna really go anywhere anyway with the flat tires. Yeah, pour some gas down in there, a little bit more. Yeah. I will say I should have disconnected the fuel line before starting it. Let's see. we can get that up. That's dry rotted. No, it didn't pull anything up from the tank. That's okay. Need some fuel hose, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna have any. Got some battery cable spark plug. The hood. And now I got some air hose. Yeah, here we go. So I keep some fuel hose there, and then I got like a 3/4 inch heater hose there. How the heck did I get this in here though? Push this off, right? Yeah, that's like the perfect amount of fuel hose, the exact size I need. And I got the IV hooked up, some fuel in there. Let's see if this fuel pump wants to suck it in. Battery cable's got a bad connection at the starter. Originally I thought it was just this battery connector because these clamp style are not great at all, so I cut back the wire and good continuity there. And I just went to snug down the nut on the starter. Look at that, cable snapped right off. So that thing, that's like a steel end on it too. It's rusted, really bad. And look how many burn holes there are through that cable too. Really unsafe battery cable. I don't have any cable ends, so I just took the other jump pack, hooked it up to the starter. It's probably one of our last shots here. Let's give it a go. All right. Last resort is going to be taking the battery out of my Tundra, and we'll do it. I just want to get this thing fired up. This cold weather is just it's killing all the batteries. Okay, I cut back the starter wire, got fresh copper, clamped it up against there. We got this good battery in here now. We should be able to get a nice crank and run out of this. And I got the fuel hooked up too. Now here we go. Yeah, all right. The lifter's a little noisy. And we're not getting no fuel to the carb. And now the fuel pump's leaking fuel too. All right, I just manually filled the carburetor up and it started shooting out of the vent. So yeah, I tried doing the old tap trick too on the where it floats, but stuck. Anyway, let's fire it up one last time and then we'll take the carb off, I guess, if we even want to continue on. Tap, but yeah, she runs. We're gonna call that a runner. Just needs a carb clean, a fuel pump, a master cylinder, a bunch of wheels need to be released, I'm sure, a bunch of other stuff. All right guys, where do we stand? Will it run? Yes, but are we going to be driving it tonight? Absolutely not. So I think we'll call this just a part one, since I don't think she wants to put any money into this really, and it's going to need quite a bit of more time and some parts. Not just time, definitely need some parts to get cruising down the road. So if you really do want to see a part two, drop a comment down below and maybe I'll talk her into, we can put some money and time into this thing. But yeah, as of right now, we'll just, we'll leave it here. I think this cold's getting the better of me too, so I'm going to clean up now. Go grab a dinner and some beer, and yeah. Just to close this out, didn't end up putting any more time and money into this panel truck. However, I would still love to see this thing saved by somebody, or at least at the bare minimum used for parts to rehab another panel truck. So it is for sale. If you're interested, feel free to drop me an email. My email can be found in the about section of the YouTube page, or comment. It's harder to keep track of those though. I believe she's asking, she wants around like 1,200 or so, which, you know, seems a little steep with all the rust, I'm sure. But those parts are hard to come by. The engine, you heard it ran pretty solid. Not sure if it's a 283 or a 327 or whatever it could be. But if you guys know, feel free to comment that down below. And I did scrape off the numbers. So if you want to take a look at the block ID number, here's what that looks like. And otherwise, at the end of this video, I've been working on some other winter projects, right? And one of them is doing a winter excursions on the river and on the jet ski, which is just probably stupid, but I have so much fun doing that kind of thing. So I'm gonna plug some clips of that video in the end, and I'll be putting that full video on my secondary channel, NoNonsenseKnowHow RRM, which stands for repairs, reviews, and more. And basically, it's like a junk bin of. It actually has more subscribers than this channel, and that's because, you know, the YouTube Shorts, which that's a whole nother topic. I feel like YouTube Shorts is undermining what it really takes to build up a subscriber base on a channel. And so feel free to check that out. Hopefully you enjoyed. Any feedback down below, hugely appreciate it. And I'm sorry for the letdown of not getting the thing driving, but you know, let's figure I would have just been beating the balls off it anyway, like I usually do. And popped the radiator or broke something else. And so maybe it's a good thing we didn't get it rolling. But till next time, no nonsense, know how, and thanks for watching. Is closed. I came to another ramp here, and well, this is not ideal, guys. How do I go further downstream? We'll just, oh yeah, look at that. Oh, she's already overheating. Darn it. It is beautiful out here though. How about that? Oh, this is sewage all over this stuff. It smells alright. A hot engine's never a problem when you have ice though, because you can just take a break and drop some ice on your motor, let it cool down.